I'm just thankful we have song leaders that can teach us new songs. Thank you so much to all who led tonight. Sounded great. And to all for singing out. I always enjoyed the singing service on the first Sunday of each month. And you enjoy it also because you get to hear me for 5 minutes instead of 45 minutes. So I know that's enjoyable as well. So let me mention this quickly. If you took part in the meal today, providing a meal, hosting, thank you. The funeral director was singing your praises over and over. He could not say enough on how much that impressed him. He said, you just don't see it. He said, I've been in this business 30 years, and you just don't see that anymore. So thank you. You made a big impact and big impression on the family, I know, and the funeral director as well. So most of you have probably watched the movie It's a Wonderful Life. If you haven't, you need to. Your life is incomplete until you do. But you remember towards the beginning of the movie, George is a young boy and he's working for a pharmacist. And so he's kind of working the front desk and all of that. And plus he runs the errands for him and that all that goes along with that. So picture that time period like that. Young boy goes to the local pharmacist and he asks, can I use your phone? He says, sure. Gives him the phone, and of course they're together, so he's listening in on the call. And the boy calls the local doctor. And he asks the doctor, he says, are you hiring? The pharmacist listening in can tell that the doctor is not wanting to hire anyone. And the boy says, do you need someone to run errands for you? Is there something that can be done around the office? And the boy responds, so you have someone who works for you, okay. And the boy says, well, let me ask you, is he a good worker? Does he do what he's supposed to do? And you could tell that apparently this one is. And the boy says, does he show up on time? Is he responsible? So he asks all these questions, and then he hangs up. And the pharmacist, he's kind of impressed by this point, and he says to the young man, he says, you know what? I could use someone. Would you want to come and work for me? And the boy says, I don't need a job. I have a job. And he says, well, you were just on the phone with the doctor asking if he was looking to hire someone. He says, yes, I know. I work for him. Sometimes I just like to check in on myself and see how I'm doing. Every now and then we need to check in on ourselves, don't we? See how we're doing. 2 Corinthians chapter 13 and verse 5, we're to examine ourselves to see if we're in the faith. We've been studying James chapter 1 in our auditorium class, and beginning in verse 21, therefore lay aside all filthiness and overflow of wickedness, receive with meekness the implanted word which is able to save your souls, but be doers of the word and not hearers only, deceiving yourselves. For if anyone is a hearer of the word and not a doer, he is like a man observing his natural face in a mirror, for he observes himself, goes away, and immediately forgets what kind of man he was. But he who looks into the perfect law of liberty and continues in it, and is not a forgetful hearer, but a doer of the work, this one will be blessed in what he does. If anyone among you thinks he is religious and does not bridle his tongue, but deceives his own heart, this one's religion is useless. Pure and undefiled religion before God and the Father is this, to visit the orphans and the widows in their trouble, and to keep oneself unspotted from the world. That young boy wanted to make sure he was meeting his employer's standards. We need to make sure that we're meeting our Father's standards. And we do this by going back to the Bible and looking into it as we do a self-examination. If we can help you in your preparation for life, for eternity, please come as we stand and as we sing.